And as Senator Miller once pointed out, and I think very adequately and appropriately, if one of those women didn't have coverage and had a complication and wound up at Women and Infants Hospital, it would have cost the state a lot more money for one of them than 25 of them in uncompensated care. It corrects an error and makes a restoration of $800,000 to Head Start. It also includes additional funds to charter schools and mayoral academies to allow the state to compete for federal dollars to match the dollars that have been allocated and appropriated in this budget. There was much talk about the proposal to eliminate the Office of Health Insurance Commissioner. It was an issue that was a big concern to many of our members. That has been restored. We have received countless emails and telephone calls about revenue sharing and our aid to cities and towns. And I understand, I think we all understand, that cities and towns are suffering. They've been hit hard like we have. But ladies and gentlemen, as much as we would like to give additional monies to the cities and towns, we simply can't do it right now. The whole purpose behind revenue sharing is exactly what it states, to share revenues. Well, between the FY09 budget and this budget and the revenue estimating conference adjustments, we've had a fall in revenues of not $2 million, not $20 million, but $200 million. We've been fortunate and in many instances reluctant to receive federal stimulus dollars. Some of those stimulus dollars will pass along right by us to the local school systems throughout the state. There's been much discussed about the flat tax and whether or not we should freeze it or eliminate it altogether. And there's been some question as to who really pays and who really benefits between in-state residents and out-of-state residents. Well, based on the numbers we have, ladies and gentlemen, while the majority of the filers may be out-of-state residents, an overwhelming majority, to the tune of 76% of the taxes paid, are by Rhode Islanders, and many of them being small business owners. This budget is and was by no means easy to deal with. And I must be honest, I would feel a lot better if I truly felt optimistic about what's ahead. But we have a situation, not only globally but nationally, where the U.S. government has spent over $2 trillion in fiscal and monetary policy to try to get the economy back on track, which has led to many economists and analysts wondering the long-term viability of that kind of borrowing in the United States as we know it today. And I have no doubt whatsoever that we will have to deal with challenges like these in the very near future once we begin working on the next budget. Unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, the difficult decisions are not going away anytime soon. But what I can tell you is, and at the same time commend the business community, the labor community, the social service community, for all of the contributions that they made to this whole process and this budget being a reality. Madam President, again, I thank you and the leaders and the members of the committee, and I'd also like to thank my counterpart, Representative Constantino, throughout this entire process. And I can say that when you're negotiating things that are important to every life in Rhode Island, it's important to deal with someone who is fair and, at the end of the day, reasonable and rational. And I consider myself fortunate to have been able to have an intelligent, informative process as we negotiated this budget. With that, Madam President, I thank you, and I move passage.
Senator DaPonte moves passage, seconded by Senator Palmer, Senator Pichardo, and Senator Cisnowski.